Good evening, Mates FC podcast here. We've got a slightly different one for you tonight. My name's Dave. I am someone who knows nothing about football. I am the chairman of Mates FC and director of Mates. This here.
And I am Ben Farage. I am a Mates ambassador and manager of Mates FC Sunday team and generally help out with the football side.
I'm the director of Mates.
And that also.
One of the three directors. Okay, what we're going to be talking about tonight is what Mates does in the community, what Mates FC does in the community, what we want to do more of, and we want to hear a slightly different side to football. If you've got any stories about what football has done for your community or in the community, any events that your football team or football club has done in the community, I think it's a really good opportunity with Ukraine at the moment to look at what else we can do, especially with this Sunday season finishing, just to sort of see what else you can do and what else the clubs do. We've seen brilliant things last year, like from Bado Spartak, their fun days. It really brings the community together. We don't really tend to have these sort of things outside of football clubs anymore, like the village fetes and things like that. So, just a little bit of background about Mates. Mates FC. I know we say this every week, but if you're someone that hasn't watched it before, good luck to you. But we're a football club that's slightly different. We do not want commitment from you, because if you're someone that's struggling with a mental health issue or just having a bit of a struggle in general, the last thing you need on you is more pressure. There's good pressure in just giving you a bit of push along, and then there's bad pressure that overwhelms you and causes more problems to your life. We do not want to be the football club that does that. We want to be the place that is there when you're ready. If you, through anxiety or depression, feel that you can't get out of the house and go to Tesco's on a Saturday, how on earth are you expected to commit to playing for a football club or a football team? So we have made it our mission that we work slightly differently. We don't want your commitment. Put your name down on our event for a football game, and if on the day you fancy it and you feel up to it, you come with us. If you don't, you don't. We don't want you there if it's going to break you. We want to be there for when you're ready. That's our philosophy. That's how it works. And in the first year, we've seen absolutely brilliant results. We started off just having, if you're someone that hasn't had any dealings with football or just want to gradually get back out there again, we've got Thursday night sessions at Chelmer Park in Chelmsford. It's all free, and that's 9 till 10 o'clock. If you have a look at the Mates FC events in the Facebook group you're looking at the moment, they're all listed in there. Pop your name down if you're interested. More information's in there. If you then want to get into a bit of an actual match, have a look at the Saturday events in there. And then in our first year, as we touched on, the whole of the last podcast was about it, we felt so many people got their spark back really quickly. And we've got people that hadn't played football for like 12 years, 5 years, that just got their spark back after getting out there and after getting across that major hurdle of getting out of the house, coming to meet strangers and get out on that pitch. It really made a difference to people's lives. So I always see it similar to work. If I've got an apprentice, I don't want them just filing paperwork or anything. I want them to do everything they can possibly do and teach them as much as we can whilst we've got them there. And that's the same with anyone that attends a Mates event. If we can push it a little bit further, let's try and do it. So we facilitated that. We put together a Sunday league team last year. We moved a lot of our regular Saturday players over to that because we needed to offer them a higher level of football, if you like. And
I think I was one of them. I hadn't played for a long time, and it's generally down to injuries and sort of losing interest. And then I came back, and it's just very much just a lot of praise, a lot of getting back into it, having a laugh. There's not that whole pressure.
Yeah, and the praising is not like sycophantic praise. It's actually just taking, you take your friends for granted. You take what happens at football for granted a lot of the time. But, it's that sort of praise of, you've done bloody well to get back out there sort of thing. It's that pat on the back. It's encouragement.
And if you bang one in top bins, everyone goes mental.
Yeah, and then thinks less of you because you're now a threat. Yeah, and then the Sunday, great example there with Ben. He's someone that was going to play for the Sunday League team. He's someone that is one of our ambassadors to help out. And he's someone that I put with another group of ambassadors to pull together the Sunday League team. And they've done such a good job of it. They were then the ones we put in to run the team. And I think we had a terrible day where we had a draw, didn't we, last season? So on your head be it. But other than that, we won the cup. We were top of the league for pretty much the whole season.
Had a good season.
Yeah, and it's all down to the individuals. It's not us. We're just throwing a kit on someone and that's it. It's down to the individuals and they've been brilliant.
That's the different side. The Sunday team is, if you're not doing very well, I will be shouting, saying, come on.
Yeah, there is commitment on the Sunday team.
In the Saturday team, we all want to win, but no one's screaming at you. No one's digging at you. It's just you have fun and be competitive.
And it sounds...
And you can play 5 minutes, you can play 10 minutes.
It sounds tacky, but our goal is to get you on that pitch. That's it. If you come along and met us and you go out on that pitch, then you've smashed it. It doesn't matter what the outcome of that game is. Most of the ones we're doing at the moment are in-house because we've got a load of, as with anything to do with fitness, after Christmas, you get a load of new recruits, if you like. And we've got a load of new recruits and we're just having a lot of internal games playing against ourselves. But then a game cropped up last week against Chelmsford Baptist Church, and they're someone we play quite a lot. We played them about 2 months ago, something like that. And obviously they beat us because we're a brand new Saturday team of people that have never played together or even met each other. And then last week, they needed someone to play. We played them, and I don't know what happened, but our lot just gelled and absolutely smashed it. Yeah, and that was a massive boost. And we've, it's helped with the nice weather recently. But so what we do is all about community. It's not about the score. It's not about anything like that. It's not about where we get to in football. It's about just getting someone out of the house and actually, improving your positive mental health. One of the big things we've said a number of times is during football, or any athletics, if you get some sort of injury that means you've got to miss games, miss whatever, it can take a massive toll on you. And it's a massive way of starting or increasing a mental health problem because you just think, I'm missing out on all of that. I'm missing out with all my friends are doing. I haven't been part of that. I should have been part of that. I've not looked after myself. My body's not good enough. I haven't, my muscles aren't as good as Sanso's muscles, whatever. And you beat yourself up. And then you often fall out of that social group as well and fall out of that WhatsApp chat. So with mates, we've got a lot of different things that we want to do for the community. So a great way of helping people that we are helping is to facilitate them helping other people, if that makes sense. So people that come to us often think that, if they're at their lowest, they feel they're a burden. They feel they haven't played football for years. They're not going to be very good. They're going to let the team down. They're rubbish at everything at the moment because that's what depression makes you feel like. When in fact, there is a hell of a lot that people can do to help other people. Now, a couple of years ago, we did like a countdown to Christmas through Mates, which is the overarching group of Mates FC. I'll explain a little bit more about Mates in a minute. But what we did was we had a countdown to Christmas that each week in December, we chose a different good cause locally that we could get people to donate things to, like a bit like a reverse countdown, Christmas, what they call it, advent calendar, where you put something in each day. So we chose, I think it was a women's refuge, a local homeless or rough sleeper association, Chelmsford Food Bank, and there was another. It was mad. We done that for a week. Just advertised on Facebook on our normal page. And we just said, look, if you come to any of our events, like at the time, this is pre-COVID, excuse me, I'm just eating half a chicken. Yeah, if you come to one of our events, if you want to bring something down, a bit like a harvest festival sort of thing, here's what we need this week. Here's what Chelmsford Food Bank are after this week. They're really low on it. And it was just mad. Not just saying the word Range Rover, my Range Rover, I'm doing it for the scale of the car. I had the passenger seat full up with food. I had the back seat full up with the food. I had the whole of the back of the car full up with food that our community, our online community from mates, had donated in 1 week. I turned up at the food bank and I went and got the man from in there, and he's like, oh, hang on, I'll go and get some helpers. And I was like, oh no, I feel terrible now. Make this poor old man carry all this food. I did help. But yeah, it was amazing what our online community could do. Same with the Women's Refuge. It's often hard to find a contact for those, but we've got one in Basildon that are brilliant, and they're, the ladies go to them with the kids, and they've got nothing, absolutely nothing. They've got no clothes. They've left the house in an emergency. They've gone to a police station. They've been put in somewhere, and they're given like a toothbrush. They're given this and that. They've got nothing. And it sounds silly, but if you've got perfume, I know that's not an essential, but
Sags and makes someone feel nice, isn't it?
Makes them feel better.
They've just gone for a horrific thing.
It's nappies, it's nappies. The same as the food bank. It's nappies. They need nappies. They need things like that. Old kids' clothes. How quickly you get through babies' clothes. Things like that we've all got knocking around at home. Those sort of things, and they can make a massive difference. So when we push these community projects, if you like, we put a list out of what we need. If anyone's got it, no matter how bad you feel about, like, I can't go out of the house, I can't do this, I'm letting people down at the moment. If you can go to a cupboard and just pull out some stuff that you don't use, that box set of perfume that someone gave you at Christmas that you don't really like, whatever.
An all-day breakfast in a tin.
Yeah, you've still got those camping ones in the cupboard.
Yeah.
You've got a chocolate cake, vacuum
it's it's a military thing.
I don't think we should inflict that on anyone. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so those sort of things we've all got in the cupboard. There's something we've all got that could go to someone and help someone else. So we the dog's climbing up me. Yeah, so we facilitate that. We come around and pick it up, or you can come and drop it off at one of our events. And the same with Call to Be Kind. So they deal with rough sleepers in Chelmsford. Now, rough sleepers, for example, it's often thought that a homeless person, a rough sleeper, is the same thing.
I've always wondered the difference.
To get into a homeless shelter, and I won't name names, but to get into the homeless shelter locally, you need your national insurance number. You need to be not on drugs. You need to be without any drink problems. You can go in there in the morning. So you go in there at a certain time in the evening. You sleep there. You can have a shower there, and you leave in the morning. They're subsidised by the local council to provide the beds and the outreach, but you still have to then pay to have one of those beds. So homeless, yes, there's people on the streets, but it's more suited, if you like, to people that have split up with someone or they've just been booted out of their house and they've got nowhere to go. It's hard for me to find my national insurance number. Someone that's living under a viaduct in town, addicted to drugs, is not going to know the national insurance number. They're not going to be allowed to stay there because they will fail a drugs test. So, Call to Be Kind deal with rough sleepers. Rough sleepers are people who have nothing, who are living on the streets. And the previous local government, and I'm only saying that from experience here, what they used to do was once a year, they'd go around and count the amount of rough sleepers there are in Chelmsford on one night. and you are a rough sleeper if you are laying down on a floor or sitting on a floor without any cover over you. If you're in a tent, you are not a rough sleeper. If you are in a awning of a shop, you are not a rough sleeper. If you're standing up, you are not a rough sleeper. That is counted in that way. From the results of that that count that night, that is then how many people the local council will then commit to looking after. They then subsidise the, they contract, if you like, the homeless charity to provide the beds, but you then have to pay £10 a night for the bed. And at the same time, the previous local council, that's not the current one, also then put a begging ban in place. So you can't go and pay £10 for a bed because you've got no money, but you can't get any money because you're not allowed to beg. So they made things very hard. So Call to Be Kind stepped in, and I think it was at the time 15, there was apparently 15 rough sleepers in Chelmsford. Call to Be Kind on that, just before this meeting, counted 68. They were dealing with 68 rough sleepers. The local council acknowledged 15. So the community needs to do something. So we stepped in as well with one of the Call to Be Kind projects, which is the Rucksack Project. And it's to put together rucksacks of essentials like clothes for and food for rough sleepers. And Call to Be Kind then got together all the church groups and people like that in the community that they found, oh, that church group goes out on a Thursday and takes food to these rough sleepers. This one does that. They pulled it all under one umbrella and they go out to the community and they serve the community as a whole. So our part in that is whatever we can do, and what we've done in the past. So we've provided a load of these rucksacks, we filled them up, and it's come from our community, our mates community. Just old coats, old jumpers, socks. You know, if you go in the pound shop, you can get thermal socks for £1, things like that. You know, people going in, spending 20 quid and getting us loads of stuff like that we can then put in rucksacks, pre-made. And when the local council have cleared away the rough sleepers' belongings from the street and they've got nothing again, Call to Be Kind can just hand out a whole new rucksack of things to get them started again. So they're doing a brilliant job, and the community, it's really helpful if we can help them. So why we have these community groups is because a lot of times people say, well, can't we pay you to come football? Can't we do that? I want to offer a service. Why I set Mates FC up is I don't want money to be an object to stand in the way of coming to play football. For the first couple of years, I funded it completely myself. For last year, we had some funding. Since March, we aren't funded at the moment. So again, I'll pay for everything until we sort funding out again. But I could easily charge for people to attend any of the Mates events or Mates FC. I don't want to. I want that service there for you. However, what we can do, and off the back of this countdown to Christmas thing a couple of years ago, obviously COVID's got in the way, but we'll be brushing that off again shortly. But we will be doing a campaign that every month through Mates FC and Mates, one of these good causes is what we would encourage that we're collecting for. So, for example, next month it might be Call to Be Kind, and we'll keep putting out on our social media the goods and items that they require. And they're all, we've chosen things that you just need to go in your house and have a rummage, right? If you can find old clothes, they'll be brilliant for Call to Be Kind. You don't have to wait to the month that we're doing Call to Be Kind. All this information will be on our website and our social media anyway about all of the different causes that we work with and support. So Call to Be Kind, if you can find old clothes, if you can buy some pants and socks, knickers in the pound shop, things like that. If you can, if you've got some old, not old, doesn't mean, you know, just an extra couple of cans of beans, anything, yeah? Sachets of soup, things like that. There'll be a list. We'll collect that. And what would be brilliant is if you come down to one of our matches, if you come to play, do our training, come down on a Saturday, just bring a can of beans with you. That'd be, what a difference that'll make. If we've got like 30 people turning up on a Saturday, and also we might even, if we're playing another team, we can put it out to them as well. But that's 30 cans of beans. That's 30 items that we can donate. That's going to make a difference. That's 30 meals straight away for the rough sleepers locally. We can make a massive difference. Same with next chapter. So if there's things that you've hunted around the house and you found some shampoos that you didn't really like or whatever, get rid of them and let's give them to the women's refuge. Let's make a difference to someone. If you've got perfume that you don't like or a box set that you're not going to use, let's give it to someone that it would change their world at that time when they're at their lowest. It's all about helping people's mental health.
I don't think people realise either how good it will feel to say you paid for someone's meal that couldn't afford it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So what we found off of the countdown to Christmas was we had people that we've been trying to meet for like 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 2 months, 3 months, that won't come out of their house and meet us and don't want to come to a walk because they're not ready to come out and put themselves out there like that yet. But they were happy to come and meet me by the car and give me a bag of toiletries they found in their house. Or they've been down to the co-op and they bought some specific things that they want to give to the rough sleepers. Or, we've had a couple of ladies that have gone and got some like makeup things or makeup that they've not used, but they bought and they didn't use, or someone bought them as a present because they know what a difference that's going to. And I'm not being stereotypical here. I mean this. If you've got someone that's got nothing, just to be able to sort of go and have a shower, wash your hair properly, and put some makeup on, that'll make a massive difference to that person when they just feel alone in that place. And we can do that, and our community can do that. We've also got Wallace Kennels, so a little bit more about them.
Yeah, they're a family-run rescue. They
New York, isn't they?
Yeah, so they're like, so the town would, if their dog wardens found a dog, they'd take them to Wallace Kennel. So Wallace Kennel do the main work.
They sort of act as the pound.
Yeah.
So whereas in the old days you had police stations would have their own pound, they're sort of run by dog rescue places now.
So obviously, if the owner doesn't come forward, they'll do their best to rehome them, pay for their food, all that sort of stuff. And they accommodate about 60 dogs. And it's all a family-run, nice sort of place.
So a lot of the pounds, and rightfully, I know it sounds really harsh, but if they don't get an owner come forward or they can't find the owner, the dogs are put down. Wallace pride themselves. They are the pound for Chelmsford, Brentwood, and a couple of other local councils, I believe. But they pride themselves on, if that dog's healthy or they can get it healthy, they will find a home for it. And if that means that dog lives with them for a couple of years, that's what happens. So we've chosen Wallace Kennels a couple of years ago because people, a lot of people prefer animals to humans, which, fair enough. But it's just another good one that when you're having that rummage around the house, this is suitable for the rough sleepers. This is suitable for the kids, the babies, the toddlers, and the ladies at the refuge. This stuff here, these old blankets, this old bedding, these old duvets, they'll still have duvets. They're not good enough for a human, maybe. Let's give them to the dogs. They need all that sort of stuff there. They constantly need things like that to make them feel at home.
A lot of places need new stuff, don't they? And whereas Wallace Kennels, if you've got a blanket you've used once, they'll still take it as long as it's not. Yeah,
and toys as well, things like that. And it's a nice thing for kids to sort of go in a pound shop, buy a load of dog toys and donate that way. So we've also offered like manpower if the kennels want a big deep clean or anything like that. Or we've offered the football team, or we can do an event we'll put up and we've got volunteers to go down there and help, and we'll just do something along those lines. Then we've got Little Edie Foundation. Now, Little Edie Foundation came to my notice because somebody, You know, when there was the issue about kids not being able to eat, have this during the half terms, where the lunches weren't provided. Someone contacted me and said, you know, they saw something on the mates Facebook page, and they saw that someone was really struggling with being able to get school clothes for their little kid, and they got in contact and said, oh, by the way, these people have really helped me. Maybe you could put them in contact with the person that's contacted you. And they just help families that, I don't mean just, they help families that the kids are at school, but they've got nothing. You know, if they need new school shoes, they work with the schools to sort of identify these things. They organise school lunches in half terms, or even in, you know, not just in half terms. They're ramping up at the moment for Easter. I've seen on their social media that they need donations again of food, very much like the food bank. They need breakfast. They provide breakfast for school kids. But on the other hand as well, fun things, so colouring books, all of that sort of stuff. Anything that, again, if you've got, especially, the reason we're doing this now again is because, you know, the crisis, you know, the cost of living crisis as well. Now, if you've got someone that actually going to school is probably the only place they're going to be warm, that's just mad, isn't it? But that's reality at the moment. So the Little ED Foundation, they're based in Chelmsford, and what they do, how much different stuff they do is just brilliant. So again, we want to, they also move people on, and they make like a youth council, and they arrange almost a bit like a French exchange you used to do at school. They arrange for these foreign trips that they get subsidized and things like that. But the core thing, they do absolutely everything. Yeah, they want, you know, like we had the youth clubs, or when I was young, we had youth clubs and all that. They are trying to fill that sort of gap as well, and they're working. You look at their website, you're like, how can you just do all of this? It's mad what they do. So they're based in Chelmsford. They're brilliant, and they're someone we want to be donating to as well. So the plan was, and always has been, but COVID keeps getting in the way. These names have been banded around a few times on our social media, but with the cost of living crisis at the moment, it's the time that we step up and we start pushing this, and we start getting these things donated to us at events, and we will start doing that very, very shortly. Other than that, people do say about donating money. We don't go out of our way to want money, because as I see it is, if I need something for Mates or Mates FC, I'll go and get it. I've chosen to do this. This is my hobby. I'll do it. I don't want to spend other people's money doing my project, if you like, unless I go and get funding for it. So what we did with Mates is, if people wanted to donate money to Mates or do a sponsored event for Mates, we found that during lockdown, a massive, massive issue is just the waiting lists to get seen by a doctor when you're at your lowest. I've been at Broomfield Hospital, no offence to Broomfield, it'd be the same story everywhere. I've been to Broomfield Hospital with people that have just tried to take their lives, like literally half an hour before. We've seen the specialists, we've been assessed, and then they've been sent home. And people have waited 6 months to see a counsellor, at least 6 months. Those people that I've, you know, took to the hospital after they've tried to take their lives, that's not a world that you can. There's a whippet walking past. She only barks at whippets. Yeah, so that's the reality. And we found that actually during lockdown, so many counsellors were doing online sessions, which actually suited a lot of people a bit more. They tend to be about £60 an hour, something like that. So any money that was donated to Mates, we don't want to spend on making T-shirts and things like that. I pay for that. We want that money to go directly to those that need it, confidentially, and as and when they need it. And we get a lot of phone calls. There's been a lot of situations where, you know, in the past, I'll just throw this out here as an example, but through Mates, there's been times where I've sat someone sent me a photo of a gun and said it's just me and this now, and I've, before anything gets put on mates, we have to review it to see if it's suitable. And when they send something like that in, or photos of self-harm or anything like that, we then get in contact with them straight away and do what we can to talk to them and signpost them on to get the help they need there and then. By having counsellors on hand to be able to pay to see, that's been really useful, of moving people on quickly to help them. But otherwise, it is, our tagline is conversations change lives. And say an example of someone sent a gun in and a photo of a gun and said, it's just me and this now. And got chatting to them, got them to tell me where they are, went and met them. They let me know where they are. They let me into the barn they were in, got in there, moved the gun away, and then just had a conversation with that person. And that person didn't want to not be alive, or they didn't want to kill themselves. They just didn't want to be there in that life at that moment. But they just needed someone to talk to. And that's the majority of what we do, our ambassadors. We're there to listen, and that does make a massive difference. But yeah, so that's what we do through Mates. Mates FC was, we need activities for people to go to and do to improve their positive mental health. We do a weekly walk over Highlands, where we've done really well this week. We found there was a farmer's market and we didn't buy any food. So that was a massive result.
So good as well.
Although the dog rolled on a dead rat. So pros and cons to everything. Yeah, so we had good old conversations over there at the weekend, and the sun was shining. It definitely was a beautiful way to kickstart a day. We'll start doing the drop-ins again very shortly. Got lots of things like that up our sleeves. But community is what we're about. And one of the other things we do, so yeah, we do accept donations to Mates and Mates FC if people want to. It's there. We also work with Calm, and Calm are the country's, we've got one on this one, yeah, see there. So Calm are the country's leading suicide prevention charity, and they do everything they can. They mainly target younger people to try and stop people taking their lives. And as soon as we set up Mates FC, they wanted to work with us. We became part of their football collective, where we use football to try and improve positive mental health, and we feed back information to them, and they suggest things that they want to trial with us, and we're like guinea pigs for them. And I'm very glad to have built up such a brilliant relationship with them over the years. So we've done charity games for them on like World Mental Health Awareness Day, Suicide Prevention Day. But the main thing we do with them now is we raise money during their Lost Hours walk, and we walk when the clocks change in October. In that lost hour that goes, we remember those that we've lost through suicide, and we walk with people's names who we've lost. And very often from the Mates community, you'll have people that aren't up or physically able to walk the 26 miles or 26.2 miles or whatever it is. So we ask, do you want us to walk with your loved ones' names? And we do that. So that's something that, at that point we raise money for Calm, and that money generally goes to their phone lines, to run their phone lines, to be there for people to talk to whenever they need to. Yeah. The other thing we do is One Love Rescue in Crete. Now, what this is, I used to live in Crete, in Greece, and Mates, we've got a good active Mates community out in New Zealand. We've got one in Greece. We've got the UK. They're our biggest places. Before the pandemic, I'd be out in Greece about 5 times a year. It's nothing flash. I just go on an EasyJet. And yeah, just go really feral and just walk around like a tramp, basically. and I don't mean that offensively, I just mean I wear a three-piece suit every day at work, and it's so nice. I go to supermarkets out there barefoot, like, and I just think, like, I send photos back to people, and they're like, "What's happened to you? Why have you done this? You're an animal." So out there, 5 times a year, prior to lockdown, I'd run walks, run drop-ins, and we've got an aged that absolutely kill me at bingo next week. Got a group of quite a lot of group of older.
And what?
They'll kill me at bingo June.
Oh.
Yeah, so a lot of older people out there in their 70s that have gone out there to retire, but they don't have the access to mental health education, mental health awareness, mental health support, or dementia support. So I also am a dementia champion for Alzheimer's UK, and I also train it's not called training, but I train the people that run the Dementia Friends. So I do those sessions out there as well for the ex-English, or it doesn't have to be English, but the older people out there. So we've got a great little community out there. We've also got someone called Jim, who is one of our ambassadors out there. He's a key ambassador out there, and he's a singer, and he goes around all the hotels in the summer, and he also does a little chat about mental health with that. And the amount of people that Jim and I have spoken to and that have got in contact with us after one of his gigs, not because of his gigs, but it's just been amazing. And, you know, people maybe in another country and on holiday, it doesn't mean they're not, you know, they're not struggling. So we've also, you know, tried to get in contact and help with travel, like reps out there, you know, to give them a bit of a briefing, and hotel managers a bit of briefing to the staff about signs to look out for mental ill health and things like that, and what to do in those situations. So we've got a good community out there. Now, some of the people out there, they started looking after some stray dogs, and there's a lot of stray dogs out there. They gradually ended up buying bigger houses or gardens that they could put more stray dogs in. And then there was donated some money to get some land, and they built 20 kennels on there. They're licensed to carry 20 dogs at a time, and it's just ridiculous. They have bags of puppies
Dumped on signposts.
Yeah, literally a carrier bag in 40-degree heat with a bag of puppies in. And it's just unbelievable. You know, there was a dog we've helped to get back to the UK a few weeks ago, or months ago now, sorry, that was an ex-police dog, and it had been shot, and it was blind because it had been shot in its eyes. And we found, you know, they found a rehome for that. And they do a lot of work to, well, they do all the work. It's 270-ish, or no, probably about 74 now, 274-year-olds. Someone that works in a car hire place that helps out when she can, which is a lot. And also, we've got a couple of people out there who have addiction problems. The second they walk in that place and they start helping, doing their tasks each day of clearing up and feeding the dogs and that, it changes them. And
it's just that purpose, isn't it?
Yeah,
they think
they
I
know
need
that
to be up.
those
I need to be ready
animals,
for this.
and I think people find that themselves as well.
Helps
You
a
know,
lot.
having a dog and you know, that you need to look after is a massive thing to make you function, really. So yeah, so out there, that's it. They rely completely on donations. They build everything themselves, as in they build everything.
All the kennels, all
Yeah, like they built a
the
sink.
water.
Yeah, built a water system, a sink.
Put all the lights out.
And then what did you do last year for them?
So we did a couple of charity tournaments where people paid to enter, and then I did a skydive, and we raised £2,000. Also got them a generator outside that £2,000.
So that's the first time they had electricity.
And they've got all lighting up now. So in the winter months when it gets dark late, obviously they can see. They used to just have torches. They had torches, and it wasn't really.
And that alarmed the dogs as well.
Very good, but
yeah, so we've made
already.
Yeah, we've made a massive difference there. Now, as I say, our ambassador, so Kieran, he's someone who, again, was put in charge of pulling together the Sunday League team. He then became one of the Sunday League team managers, and he's been just such a brilliant help. He's designed the logo, we've got branding, and we've done what we're using our life skills, that are our day-to-day skills, but for other reasons. So that's what this community is about as well, is utilising who we've got as volunteers and seeing what we can do as a team together to help other people and places and animals. So yeah, Kieran's, I've steered him. I know what we want on there, but he's made a website for free for One Love.
He's done it all in his personal time.
Yeah, so we have, he also works with me, so we go to work and then we come around here and we start making websites, and we've come up with ideas. We've had exactly the same sort of meetings that we'd have at work. So how can we get more money in? How for the dogs? How can we make it slicker for, because they don't know about the social media in the way that young people do. So we need young people to help steer that social media for the place. So making such a massive difference out there. So that's something we support as well. And over Christmas, day after Boxing Day, what did we do?
Yeah, we went out there for a little trip and hired a car, but it wasn't actually the car we wanted. But we got a pickup truck anyway. And then obviously always looking for little bits of wood, little bits of new fencing, stuff to make kennels.
So a lot of stuff had also been donated, but with just a couple of older people, looking after the dogs, they haven't got the vehicles to go and pick these things up, these donations. So yeah, we used the week between Boxing Day and New Year's. We'll come back day after New Year's Day, don't we? We used that to go out there and pick up the donations and go and pick up the wood out there, go and pick up all the old wire, and then we're driving around motorways looking off the side, like, oh, there's a big pile of old rubbish here, let's go and have a rummage through it. And we're going to find any bits of wood that we can find to take back to the dog kennels, and just see what we don't really know what's a garden and what's not. But that's my excuse when it comes to court. We've gone and done that for bringing all the stuff back for Jeff and the team to see what they build. I'm back out there next Friday and see how things have moved on. But it's all from the mates community. We're changing things. We're changing, and not only are we changing the lives of those dogs, for example, in this case, but those people that have rehomed those dogs. They know about it because they've seen the website. They know about how slick the arrangements can be to get them back to the country, because that's how we've pulled it together. Ben and I also volunteer in this country that if one of the reasons that you can't get the dog back, you don't get the dog, is because you can't get it from the airport to your house, we'll go and pick it up at the airport and take it to your house. There's pet taxis as well that drive certain dogs back across Europe. There's some that fly. June 70, she's going to hit me, 73, 74, something like that. She drove 4 dogs back from Crete on her own in a car to rehome in Maidstone and Colchester just before the lockdown. That's how much people care. And so our community.
That's like a 2-day.
I've no idea, but it's not good.
It's massive.
Yeah, so that's the sort of thing we're doing. Now, the reason we're not relaunching this minute is because something else has cropped up, Ukraine. So something that Bado Spartak, a local football team to us here, put up was that I hadn't realised that we'd started getting when we're offering a household to a Ukrainian family and we're sponsoring a Ukrainian family sort of thing. I hadn't realised that we had any that had come to our community already, but we have. And what Bado Spartak did, brilliant way of leading the way, they opened up, one of the people who was sponsoring a kid and a parent. They said, oh, do you want to come down to football? And does the kid want to come to football? So they opened up a place for free for the Ukrainian refugee to come and play football. And absolutely, in the grand scheme of things, football's not important, you'd think, on paper, to that kid that's got nothing. But what actually happens is, I've read the policy, that's my job. The family that sponsor the home the children, the Ukrainians, they get a monthly £350. That's a thank you from the government. They can, if they want to, still charge rent because, again, the refugees can then apply to get a national insurance number, get a bank set up, and all that sort of stuff, and get into work. There are some really brilliant things in place to get this fast tracked to the best they can, but it's still, they've still got no belongings. Any individual that comes to this country via this Ukrainian scheme gets £200, and that's it. So they've got what they've got with them. They've got £200, and the family they stay with get a thank you amount per month. The families, without fail, you don't take a family into your family without wanting to help more. So in no way am I saying that the family should do more, because those families will be finding clothes, they will find belongings, they will be feeding, they will be doing everything for these people. I've no doubt about that whatsoever. However, what can we do as a football community as well? So what we've pulled together is Chelmsford Football United for Ukraine, United for Ukraine, and based on what Spartak have done with the kids session, as and when we've created a network, and we want more teams to get in this network. Mates FC can take adults. So as long as we've got capacity to do so, and we've got enough coaches and things like that and spaces, if anyone's got a Ukrainian family staying with them, contact us if they want to come to football. We provide free football for them, full stop. Let us know the size of clothes, the size of boots, things like that they need, and we'll get that through our football community or through our social media. So when they attend our session, they've got some stuff that they can take home with them, and that's the first step.
Shoes, shin pads, boots.
Let's get a smile on people's faces. Let's get them mingling in the community. Let's get some sort of normality. Let's get something in their lives. Same with the kids. Mates FC and Football Fitness Club have said for the adults that we will facilitate on a Thursday, so for free at Football Fitness Club, for free at Mates FC, and also on a Saturday for free at Mates FC. We can take the adults from Ukraine. What we need is local football teams. We're just starting in Chelmsford because that's where we are, and that's what we're doing at the moment. Also, we'll come and pick people up if they live locally. We can do that as well. We'll get them to and from our adult matches. For the kids, we need, there's different rules around capacity for kids teams and things like that. And we're not going to ever put a local football team in a position where it's causing them problems. But with a good selection of volunteering local football teams, we've got Bado Spartak, we've got Gallywood Youth, and we've got Springfield FC, who are all part of this at the moment, and we're going to get more. We have then got a group together where if we get alerted that there's someone that wants to attend one of our sessions, or someone in the community that has a Ukrainian family with them, we will contact them as well, and we'll offer our services. We'll offer, do you want to send your kid to one of these sessions, or each week? It's not just a one-off. We will then send the age and details and location of the children through our private network that we've got between the football clubs, and whatever club can take them will take them. We'll use the social media again and our network of parents, our network of football people, to then also pull together whatever clothes and kit and boots that kid needs to start with. Once we've then got those people in our community and attending our football sessions, we were looking anyway to do some sort of fundraiser for Ukraine. But we've got on the back of what we're doing for other local good causes, we can make such a difference to these individuals' lives that are attending our sessions. So once we get that adult that comes to our session, that first adult, we build a bond. We work out what they need. We see what we can help with. And we use our football team, our football community, and our social media to get whatever we can for that person, whatever we can for those kids, and just get them some sort of level of normality back in there. If we will expand this out, that if there's other like kids groups and things like that that want to get involved, we'll expand out to that. We'll do whatever we can to use football in a different way to actually change someone's life at this moment. So that's, you'll see it shortly on our social media. We're just pulling together the last of the graphics, but it's Chelmsford Football United for Ukraine. You'll see the Ukraine flag on the logo. It makes it very clear. You'll see the listing of all the participating clubs. If you are a local football club that wants to get involved, please just contact us either on here privately or weareyourmates@gmail.com. And we've got a big project here, and we can do something, and we can really make a difference to people's lives here.
I think even if it's like 10 seconds where they start forgetting about everything that's happened, and
if we can get a kid out on that, a kid out on that pitch, smiling and kicking a football after what they've been through. And there's going to be comments about, well, why don't you do it for people in our community at the moment? Well, maybe this is a good way of opening the door to that. Who knows where this will go? Who knows what will happen? Again, great associations like Little Edie's. They're people that I'm going to have conversations with about what else we can use our football community for. And we can definitely change some people's lives here. So, this may sound all quite not the normal upbeat stuff, but I can't really think anything more upbeat than actually changing someone's lives, and that's our community doing that. That's our footballers doing that. That's our people that have come to our football team because they're struggling in their own life. Just think what a positive all of this can do to those people that are coming to our sessions, to go home to think, you know what, I took that pair of boots and that man can play football now after what he's just been through. I've watched on the news what they've been through, and I've actually, just by leaving my house and giving that pair of football boots, I've actually given him a break. I've actually given him an opportunity to get out and just have a laugh and play football and get to meet other people and get to socialise. And, where are kids going to get the opportunity to socialise that have come from the Ukraine at the moment? We've got this, what the parents' network's like in football and how you make friends. And for these kids, they've got nothing. They've got no other way of making friends. They're not going to go around their friend's house from school. They're not going to school at the moment.
They might not be able to speak English.
Not playing outside the front of the house, all this sort of stuff like we used to. We've got a set of kids. We've got, we've got a football community. We can make a difference here. We can make a massive change. So, keep an eye out for that. That'll be coming out shortly. But so sorry tonight's a little bit different, but it seemed a good opportunity with the cost of living, with Ukraine and all of this sort of stuff, that actually, let's not have doom and gloom constantly. There's things we can do, and there's things we are going to do, and there's things we've done. And we're going to keep changing, and we're going to keep doing it. And we're going to see a different side of football. It's something that we're really keen to do. And if anyone's got any other ideas about things like that, contact us. Mates is about mental health. Mates FC is about mental health. Mates FC is also about improving your positive mental health. If you're not working, if you're just down, you don't have to feel like you're depressed. You don't have to be clinically depressed or or suffer from anything. If you want to improve your positive mental health, if you want to be happier, if you want to feel happier, if you want to get out there, if you don't want to go to the gym and you just want to go and kick a football around a little bit, come to us and let's work together and get a smile on your face. That's all we want to do. So, yeah. Anything else you want to add to that, Benjamin?
I just think if there's people that aren't coming to football sessions or some sort of mates event and you have things to donate, just drop one of us a message. Like, we'll always drive around and meet you or come to your house and pick it up or whatever. If it's something to help someone.
And we'll have pick-up points as well we're working on for moving forward. It might be things like, we've got a clubhouse. Our Sunday team plays at Barrow Spartak. We'll have a word there, see if we can get things donated there. We've got the Mates Pub Hub at the Gardeners in Springfield. We might do that as a drop-off point. But there's a lot we can do. But we'll get it started in the next week or so. Keep an eye out, and we are your mates, we are your community, and we want to make a difference. And if you've got any ideas of how else we can do that, please let us know. And we'll do whatever we can for you. All right. So, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And goodbye.